played guitar from when I was about 15 to about 26. Then I met my wife, life got busy, and I didn't touch guitar for probably about 20 years. And the thing that pulled me back was seeing my 9-year-old daughter learn guitar and helping her learn Ode to Joy. So this is my channel. I'm not a guitar teacher. I'm not trying to be the next Justin Guitar. I'm just documenting what it's like to come back to something that you love after a long time away. So how did I start with guitar? I started learning as a teenager. I was into Jimi Hendrix and the Doors. I took a few lessons at school, was involved in school music, and quite early in about grade 9, I was skipping a lot of school. I was a bit of a bad student, and I skipped a lot of lessons for music, and I realized that I'd fallen behind, and rather than grind and try and catch up, I decided to quit, which was a big mistake looking back. So that was it for a little while. I ended up picking it back up in my early 20s. I ended up being, I bought myself a guitar or two. I bought myself a guitar, and then I got some lessons where I bought the guitar at John Reynolds Music School in the Adelaide CBD. And my guitar teacher was a guy named Dean Higgins. He's still around. I think he still teaches guitar. He actually taught Ben Lee how to play guitar. So I was into Ben Harper, John Butler Trio. I'm still into those musicians now, but that's who I was mainly into back then. I started a band with my brother and his friend. We just were a garage band jamming songs that I'd written, songs that my brother had written. And it was a lot of fun, like we would, I remember stuffing my Roland JC 120, 160 actually, it was a big old rig, and chucking it in the back of my little hatchback to go to band practice. Man, that was crazy. Also, would jam with some other friends, some older guys. We would do 60s and 70s blues and rock. That was cool. And I would add my own little raps, and sometimes I would play my acoustic. A big regret was I had a really awesome Maton EM325C, and it was a gorgeous old Maton, very, very well played. Apparently it was owned by Mark Seymour from Hunters and Collectors, which is one thing that I wish I never sold, that went on eBay. And then after that, I met my wife when I was 26, and guitar slowly crept out of my life from there. And then for nearly 20 years, guitar was just a thing that I used to do. And then my daughter decided she wanted to learn. So my daughter had a choice of instruments that she could play at school when she was 9, and she came home and told us that she wanted to learn guitar, which I thought it was great. So watching her learn was very cute, but it was genuinely frustrating in the best way. We had the option of either hiring a guitar from school or buying a guitar. So I hopped on Facebook Marketplace, and I went and bought a cool brand new guitar from a lovely lady, and I got it home, and it was a 3/4 size Valencia that I bought for $50, and I realized that it was a lefty, and no biggie, we strung it up as a righty, and it's still her guitar for now. But what happened was I found myself playing that guitar. I've started feeling something that I hadn't felt in 20 years, really. That's when I went back to Facebook Marketplace, and I found this bad boy, the Court. This is a A510E. It's a really basic guitar, simple, cheap, but I love it. So I started helping my daughter learn Ode to Joy with this $100 guitar, and she was learning it for a school concert, so I would write the letters on her sheet music for Ode to Joy to help her read the music. And so we practiced together, and we'd wait for each other, playing these single notes, and mostly I was waiting for her, but it was fun. And my wife thought it was very sweet, but she did have some opinions about us practicing at bedtime. Picking the guitar back up felt like riding a bike, but it also felt like starting over. I had to relearn chord shapes. I had to relearn pentatonic scales. They were all gone. Actually, I lost a lot. It was like starting from scratch, really. some songs were kind of there, but I'd thrown out all of my guitar books. I'd thrown out my sheet music, my tabs, stuff that I'd spent a lot of time working on. And that was frustrating. So in a lot of ways, I was starting from scratch, but this time there was definitely no pressure. There was definitely no ego, and I just wanted to play. So then came my little gear heads story. Okay, so I started playing this bad boy, and I was like, okay, I want to start learning some electric. So my sound engineer neighbor told me to go and get a Boss Katana. So I did all the research and looked on Facebook Marketplace. People were wanting to sell them for $300. You can get them for $400 brand new. So I went and bought one. So I had a birthday, and it was Christmas time as well, and ended up getting some vouchers for cool old guitars in Sydney. And I ended up buying this very, very cool Greco Sparkle Sounds Strat copy. It's a CBS era copy. So it's got this big headstock. It's got the beautiful sunburst finish, the rosewood fretboard. I really did research this obsessively before I bought it. But you know what? I really wish that I bought like a cheap Yamaha just to bash around. Something I didn't care about scratching. Because now I've got this beautiful old 50-year-old guitar that I'm too precious about actually playing. I've only played it like 3 or 4 times since I got it, really. You know, and then like the setup doesn't help. Like the strings are too close to the bass side of the neck. So, you know, they kind of fall off. The low E string falls off really easily. And it's probably like a neck pocket issue, because I have tried to adjust it, but I will get a luthier to look at it in the future, but for now it's on the to-do list. And it does sound great. It's definitely worth keeping as an investment, or probably. You know, it's like 50 years old, and it really is in very good condition. And now I've got the Greco and the Katana sitting there. Yeah, it's a very expensive and very quiet corner of my office. Meanwhile, this $100 Facebook Marketplace acoustic, you know, this is the one that I play every day. Missed one playing day out of this calendar year so far, March 19th. I felt bad about that, but I also felt good that I've carried on since. And sometimes the $100 guitar wins. So I've been playing for approximately 13 months since I've started again. I was 44, now I'm 45. I've been playing things like Miss Misery, Across the Universe, Diamonds on the Inside, Say It Ain't So, The Drugs Don't Work. It's my vibe and I'm enjoying it. I'm also writing again for the first time in years. It kind of sounds like Jack Johnson in my head. But now I know I've hit what is called the intermediate plateau. I can play good enough that friends and family think that I sound good, but I'm not quite good enough to, you know, busk or play gig confidently. For my next part of my journey, I'm at a bit of a crossroads. Like, do I learn the cage system? Do I go into triads? Do I learn the major scale? I genuinely don't know, and maybe that's what this channel is partly for. It's figuring that out in public. What I do know is that playing now at 45 feels a lot different to when I was playing in my 20s. Like, back then I was a lot more ambitious. You know, I was trying to play for, I guess, more of a reward. But now it's more about relaxation. Now it's more cathartic. I'm doing this mainly for myself, but also for whatever small way it can help me connect with my daughter on her guitar journey. There's no pressure, and honestly, that's probably the best thing about picking the guitar up at this age. So, you know, I'm making this channel for another version of myself, somebody else in their 40s or maybe their 30s or their 50s or 60s, doesn't matter. Someone who played when they were young and then they stopped, or someone who always wanted to play and kept telling themselves that it was too late, or they weren't musical enough, or life was too busy. Because here's what I've learned, right? Guitar is one of life's genuine blessings. It's challenging enough that it's never easy, but it's easy enough that with a little dedication, you can go a long way with it. You know, even rhythmically challenged noobs can get to the point where they can, you know, strum confidently by the fire, which I think is cool. So that's me. I'm not a guitar teacher. I'm not trying to be the next Justin Guitar. I'm just a 45-year-old dad in Adelaide who rediscovered something that he loves, and I'm figuring it out one day at a time. So if that is you, stick around, subscribe, And yeah, I think we're going to have a good time. I'll see you on the journey.